Hello. Yeah, so the requirements of a quasi contract. Actually, I would like that.
But this is no problem. The subjects are correct now. It's always it's not really connected to the laptop.
Hello, class. Can you all listen to me now?
Yeah, the laptop no problem.
Okay, requirements for a quasi contract. Certain aspects must be in place for a judge to issue a quasi contract. One party, the plaintiff, must have furnished a tangible item or service to another party or the defendant with the expectation or implication that the payment should be given. The defendant must have accepted or acknowledged the receipt, the item of value, but made no effort or offer to pay for it. So Jasma received it right now. Contingent contract. What do you mean by contingent contract? I would like to explain here one more thing. In quasi contract, it is finder of goods. It is finder of goods. Now, for example, Jasma received, she found my laptop. She found my laptop in a train and she takes it home. And she sees to it that she's returning back to me the laptop. So around 60 to 75,000 ka laptop, it is getting saved because Jasma has gone to the police. The police helped her to retrace me and my laptop was given to me. So this is, I have to give her something in return. I have to pay her something in return, or she has a right of lien, L-E-I-N. She has a right of lien, and that is called, she can keep requirement of a quasi contract. All the whatever doubts you have, please write down and keep. The last 15 minutes I will explain to you. Class, I cannot explain to you each and everyone's doubt over here now. Quasi contract mein, the very important thing is the plaintiff must then express why it is unjust for the defendant to receive the good or service without paying for it. Now I told you it's my laptop. I paid 75,000. So Jasma is enjoying my laptop, or maybe Jasma is enjoying the onions and potatoes which I ordered. So did she pay for it? Did she pay for it? No. So that is the last point. Someone is asking me to explain the last point. The plaintiff must then express. That means I must express to the court that it is unjust for Jasma, the defendant, to receive the good or service without paying for it. In other words, the plaintiff must establish that the defendant received unjust enrichment. In other words, I have to prove to the court that Jasma is not giving me back my money or whatever I paid to the seller. So all this comes under the Sale of Goods Act. That's called the right of the finder of goods. So when we do the Sale of Goods Act, we will do this specially for a session, that is right of a buyer, right of a seller, right of an unpaid seller, right of a finder of goods. So right of a finder of goods is a quasi contract. Yes, all of you? Right of Krina Sojatra. Please see her, write down the name. Krina Sojitra. CR is writing down the name of Krina. Yeah, so that's the requirements for a quasi contract. So number one, it should be tangible, T for tangible. Number two, the defendant must have accepted or acknowledged the receipt. Jasma should accept that she has got it. Number three, the plaintiff must express why it is unjust. The plaintiff must express why it is unjust. Okay, all of you? So the next one is contingent contract. What do you mean by contingent contract? Now you all know void contract, you all know quasi contract, you all know contingent contract. Yes, Sakshi. No problem, I'll teach them and then let me see. No, I am not able to hear. It's okay, I will teach them and afterwards let me see. Yeah, contingent contract. A contingent contract is a contract to do or not to do something if some event collateral to such a contract does or does not happen. Can somebody give me a name? Again, I'll take Jasma because I cannot hear you all. A contingent contract is a contract to do or not to do something if some event collateral to such contract does or does not happen. Now, when I say about contingency, contingency means happening of an event or non-happening of an event. Now here I'll take you an example so that you will understand contingency. Over here it is A contract to B, rupees 10,000 if B's house is burnt. This is a contingent contract. So enforcement of contract contingent on an event happening. Contingent contracts to do or not to do anything if an uncertain future event happens. Please see to it, you need to speak about uncertain future event. All of you, please write down UFE. The person who is answering this question have to explain to me UFE, that is an uncertain future event. So contingency means an uncertain future event. If the event becomes impossible, then the contract becomes void. So that particular event, if it comes under section 56, it gets frustrated or the contract is not impossible to perform, then it becomes void. Void, you all know, not enforceable in the court of law. So over here, I would like to explain a very easy way, an extremely easy way so that you all understand contingency. That is, contingency is a contract to do or not to do something, to abstain from doing something. So we'll take the example of Mr. Bachchan. A as Mr. Amitabh Bachchan promising B, that is Abhishek Bachchan, that if he marries Aishwarya, he will give the bungalow Pratiksha to him. All of you understanding? So in case Abhishek will marry Aishwarya, then I will gift the Pratiksha bungalow to him. So this is contingency. Contingency means happening of a certain event. And not happening, it can be happening of a certain event or it can be non-happening of a certain event. Non-happening, I'll give you. A is promising B that if he doesn't marry Bipasha, he will give the gift of the bungalow to that particular B. So this is non-happening of an event. So contingent contracts means basically happening or non-happening of an event. Okay, a very, very important question for your syllabus. This is explain contingency. So for the exam, please don't write Mr. Bachchan's name. You have to write A contracts to B 10,000. If B's house is burnt, then this is a contingent contract. So enforcement of a contract contingent on an event happening, that is contingent contract. To do or not to do anything if an uncertain future event happens cannot be enforced by law unless that event has happened. So if the event becomes impossible, then the contract is void. So I think so all of you know the contingency contract, okay? Now here we'll see contingency explained, enforcement of contract contingent on an event non-happening. Here see the example. A agrees to pay B a sum of money if a certain ship does not return to India or any country. So A is me and B is Jasma. I am promising her a sum of money if a certain ship does not come back. So the ship is sunk. The contract can be enforced when the ship sinks. All of you understood? The contract can be enforced when the ship sinks. That is non-happening of an event. So enforcement of a contract contingent on an event non-happening. When an event on which contract is contingent to be deemed impossible if the future conduct of a living person, and that event which is contingent is the way in which a person will act at an unspecified time, the event will be considered to become impossible. Here you just need to understand what do you mean by contingent contract. Simple it is, it's happening or non-happening of an event. So A agrees to pay B a sum of money if B marries C, C marries D, then after the marriage of B to C must now be considered impossible, though it would have been possible that if he had married, he would have got the prize. So these are called contingent contracts. Now here, contingent contracts. Yes, when a contract become void, which are contingent on a happening of a specified event, yes. Yeah. Now here, when contract, enforcement of contract contingent on an event not happening, I told you A agrees to B a sum of money if a certain ship does not return back. The ship is sunk, the contract can be enforced when the ship sinks. Now when an event on which a contract is contingent to be deemed impossible, the future conduct of a living person, that is, if the future event on which a contingent is the way in which a person will act on a specified time, it is considered to become impossible. I told you A agrees to pay B a sum of money if B marries C, C marries D, marriage of B to C must now be considered impossible, although it is possible that D may die and that C may afterwards marry B. So these are called contingent contracts. Next one, yeah, performance of a contract. Now last time in our enactment of that court scene, we had seen how Ranveer Singh had come to the court and expressed his displeasure that the performance of contract is not done. So it is very simple. If a question is come on what do you mean by performance of contracts, it is the obligation of parties to contract. So please write O for obligation. Performance means obligation of parties to contract. Sometimes it is part performance. So last time we saw Ritu Kumar had done part performance. She had finished some part of her promise. She had finished some part of her promise, but they declared it as anticipatory breach of contract. So therefore, performance of contract can be part performance also, but the aggrieved party can ask for exemplary damage. So here, A promises to deliver goods to B on a certain day on payment of rupees. That person dies before that day. Now A's representatives are bound to deliver that particular amount and B is bound to pay the rupees 1,000 to A's representatives. Now effect of refusal to accept offer of performance. You will see a question can come for your exam. What are the requisites of a valid tender? What are the requisites of a valid tender? Number one is offer. The other is acceptance. There has to be a promiser. There has to be a promisee. There has to be a consideration. There has to be capacity to contract. And yes, it should not be unlawful. Consideration should not be unlawful. So here, A contracts to deliver to B at his warehouse. So A, we'll take A as Melina. Melina contracts to deliver to Jasma B at her warehouse on 1st March or maybe 1st of July 2020 of cotton of a particular quality. Now, in order to make an offer with the effect stated in this section, A must bring the cotton to the warehouse on the appointed day. So if Melina is planning to sell her cotton to the designer Jasma, she has to show the quality of the yarn that she's going to use for the dress. Now, on the appointed day, under such circumstances, that a reasonable opportunity of satisfying himself that the thing offered is of the quality contracted for, and that there are 100 bills. So here you saw quality, quantity. I think so the class is understanding. So performance of a contract is based on offer, acceptance. Melina is offering something from her factory and Jasma is accepting the offer. So it becomes the obligation of Melina to allow the examination of whatever she's going to, the quality of the product that she's going to give it to the buyer. So all this will come in again one of the sessions called the Sale of Goods Act, where and the consumer law, where quality, quantity, potency, purity, price, and standard is very, very important. So I feel performance of contract, you all got it. Quality, quantity, potency, purity, price, and standard. The same thing you will come across again in consumer law. Now, effect of refusal of a party to perform promise wholly. This example is in your contract law book. Avtar Singh, all of you can refer Avtar Singh. There is Kritika Choradia in the entry room. The CR need to write down her name. Kritika. I have admitted her. The CR need to mention her name to me. Kritika. Effect of refusal of party to perform wholly. When a particular singer enters into a contract with a manager, the manager is booking the theater 2 nights in every week during the next 6 months, and B engages to pay her maybe 1 lakh rupees for each performance. This is your contract law book example. You need to write this in your exam if there is a question on performance of contract. A singer enters into a contract with the manager of a theater, and the manager of the theater, at his theater 2 nights he books every week for that particular singer. Now B engages to pay 1 lakh rupees for each performance. On the 6th night, the singer willfully absents herself. Now B is at liberty to put an end to the contract. There's a breach of contract. There is a breach of contract, and therefore the other party, that is the manager of the theater, is having the authority to accept the breach and cancel the entire contract. So person by whom promises to be performed, a promise to pay, A promises to be pay B a sum of money. A may perform this either by personally paying the money to B or by causing it to be to another person. If A dies before the time appointed for the payment, the representatives must perform the promise or employ some person to do the contract. So these are called performance of contracts. Last time we had done something called breach of contract. And how does a breach take place? The breach takes place when there is a performance. For example, we say, when is a discharge of contract taking place? The question for your exam may be, when is a discharge of contract taking place? So discharge of contract take place. Number 1, performance of contract. Number 2, part performance of contract. Number 3, breach of contract. Number 4, anticipatory breach of contract. Number 5, when the contracts become impossible to perform. when the contract become impossible to perform. So, yes, time and place of performance. Time and place of performance. I told you section 55 of the contract law stipulates time as an essence of contract. A and B are mutually indebted. Now A and B settle an account by setting off one item against another. B pays A the balance found to be due from him from such a settlement. This amounts to a payment by A and B respectively of the sum which they owe to each other. For example, Melina desires that Jashma, who owns rupees 1 lakh, to send her a note of rupees 1 lakh by post. Now the debt is discharged as soon as Jasma puts into the post a letter containing the note duly addressed to Melina. Now Melina undertakes to deliver 1,000 pounds of jute to Jasma on a fixed day. A must apply to B, that is Melina must apply to B, Jasma, to appoint a reasonable place for the purpose of receiving it and must deliver to her at such a place. So these are the essential elements of a contract. Again, there are three people waiting: Jay Gandhi, Muskan, and Jatin Barocha. Okay, please write all the names, Melina. Jatin is late, our CR, Jay Gandhi, Muskan. I'm taking them all in. Yes, consequences of breach of contract. In case of breach of contract, I told you last time, the parties had come to the court claiming exemplary damage. You saw that Ranveer was explaining to the court that he needs nothing else than exemplary damage. So you will see the question for your exam here. What are the consequences of breach of contract? Now here are the consequences. You can see the injured party as an option. Number one, compensation for loss or damages, compensation for failure to discharge obligation resembling those to a contract. That means quasi-contract. Now first is your loss of damages when a contract has been a party who suffers by such breach. Who suffers by such a breach, yes, is entitled to receive from the other party has broken the contract compensation for any loss or damage thereby which naturally arose in the usual course of things which the parties knew when they made the contract to be likely to happen from the breach of it. So I told you, whenever there is a clause, in our clause also, we had explained that time is one of the clauses of business contract. And when that particular contract is not performed within that time, then the injured party can move the court. The injured party can move the court. Your friends had done it extremely nice. Compensation for breach of contract where penalty is stipulated for. Now, this is one of the clause of contract, business contract. And this is, you will see there is a clause of liquidated damages. Kindly write down, there is a clause of liquidated damages when I make a contract for my clients. For example, Melina and Jasma has come down to me to draft the contract clause. So one of the clause will be the jurisdiction clause. That is, if there is a breach, what will be the amount Jasma has to pay or Melina has to pay. So either of the party failing to perform the obligation undertakes to pay a certain amount. Now A contracts with B to pay rupees 1 lakh or 1,000 if he fails to pay B rupees 500 on a given day. A fails to pay B rupees 500 on that day, B is entitled to recover from A such a compensation not exceeding 1,000 as the court considers reasonable. Now, party rightfully reasoning contract entitled to compensation. Again, you can write the example of the singer. A singer contracts with B, the manager of a theater, to sing at a theater for 2 nights in every week during the next 2 months, and B engages to pay 1 lakh rupees for each night's performance. On the 6th night, A willfully absents. So naturally, that particular contract is, yes, the particular contract is, all of you understood? That particular contract is breached. The singer is not in a position to perform in that particular theater, which is booked in advance. Now, because the singer has booked it, the manager could not give it to some other person, and therefore he is at a loss. So he can claim exemplary damage. He can see to it that the contract is discharged due to non-performance. So the very, very important topic, extremely important topic related to your business contract is the special contracts. These are the special contracts. You can expect a question on what are special contracts. What are special contracts? That is number 1, indemnity. Section 124 to 125 of the Indian Contract Act. I would request the class to please write down this 5. I would request the class to please write down this 5. Extremely important topic for your syllabus. Contract of indemnity, contract of guarantee, contract of bailment and pledge, contract of pledge, and contract of agency. Indemnity, the law comes under section 124 to 125. You all are not expected to know the sections, but when we are training you as lawyers, we need to, when we are explaining to you the business laws, we need to tell you this particular, under section 124 to 125 comes the indemnity, wherein if you are, for example, insurance a contract, when you're entering into a insurance contract, maybe life insurance with LIC, it's a contract of indemnity. If something happens to you, that particular company is indemnifying the loss. Maybe you are entered into a contract for fire insurance. So in case the fire happens, that particular New India Assurance will step into the shoes and make the payment for you. So this is very simple, contract of indemnity. Okay, class? That's the contract of indemnity. Now, next is the contract of guarantee or surety. Now, this guarantee and surety is so simple. When your friend wants loan from a bank, the manager will ask for a surety. And if your friend doesn't pay that amount, your salary can be attached. Your salary can be attached. And therefore, we see that surety, when you want a surety, it's very difficult to get. It's very difficult to get a surety because sometimes what happens is, most of the times it happens that that particular person who has availed the loan is not in a position to pay back. So this is called the contract of guarantee and the contract of surety. So you can expect a question on contract of indemnity, contract of guarantee, bailment and pledge. Bailment, I would request you all, bailment is something that you are delivering the goods to a particular person with a particular purpose, and after the purpose is accomplished, that person gives back the goods to you. The person gives back the goods to you. So for example, Jashma as a laundry, she is having a laundry at the Taj. Okay, she is owning a laundry at the Taj. One of the film star or one of the stars gave his expensive, wear, designer wear to Jashma's, yes, the laundry, and her staff, while ironing, burnt it. Now, yes, Chashma is responsible for that particular star's expensive wardrobe. So this is an example of bailment. Every day, whenever our day to day in our home, we give our clothes to the istri fellow and he irons it and returns it back. So this is called bailment, delivering the goods for a particular purpose. And once that purpose is achieved, that particular personality gives you back the promiser, the promisee, the bailer, the bailee. Here we call it the bailer and the bailee. So the bailer delivers his goods for a particular purpose. The bailee finishes the task, accomplishes the task, and gives it back to the bailer. So this is bailment. So I think so the class is understood. What do you mean by indemnity? What do you mean by guarantee surety? What do you mean by bailment? What do you mean by pledge? Pledge is again very, very easy. You all have to pay the expenses for your fees, maybe lakhs of rupees you all are paying. And one of the students is not in a position to pay the fees. Now, the mother of the house usually she pledges her gold to a money lender. She pledges her gold to a money lender and takes 2 lakhs and pays her child the fees. So this is called pledge. Okay. So you will see in our day-to-day transactions, we do all these things. Only thing is I'm explaining to you in legal language. What are special contracts? Special contracts are nothing than your insurance contract, that is the law of indemnity, your loan guarantee. Now you all may be working. After 1 year, you all will start working in one of the best organization. Melina will join. And Jasma wants to buy a home. So Jasma will request Melina to be a surety. And if Jasma fails to pay the amount, the surety's salary will be attached. And that is why the law of surety is important. Section 126 to 129, 132 to 144, bailment, pledge, and yes, the contract of agency. You all have in the syllabus a very important question for your exam: vicarious liability. Vicarious liability. That's called VICARIOUS. The principle of agency, there is a principal, there is an agent. Whatever wrong the agent does, the principal is responsible. So you will see in the law of agency, you will get a case study for your exam and you need to answer, you need to put up your own suggestions. Yes, this comes under the law of agency. And there is a principle which is called the principle of vicarious liability, strict liability, that is the agent has done something wrong and therefore the principal is liable. So these are the laws which you will be learning as special contracts. Section 182 to 185 and 201 to 225. Yes. Yes, class. Now the contract of indemnity. I don't know why I cannot hear you all. Contract of indemnity, section 124, a contract by which one party promises to save the other. Yes, save the other. Contract of indemnity is a contract where a particular party, I told you, the insurance contract, LIC, the Life Insurance Corporation of India, is promising to save the other from loss caused to him by the contract of the promiser himself or by the conduct of any other person. It's called a contract of indemnity. So please write down, break this definition and write down into parts. What do you mean by contract of indemnity? What do you mean by a contract of indemnity? Number one, party promises to save the other. So it is saving the other party. S for save. From the losses caused to him by the contract of the promiser himself. So there is a contract of the promiser himself. Number three, the conduct of any other person is also called a contract of indemnity. See the example over here. A contracts to indemnify B against the consequences of any proceeding which C may B take against B in respect of a certain sum of rupees 200. This is a contract of indemnity. I told you the easiest example you remember is the life insurance or the fire insurance or the marine insurance, auto insurance. It's called we will be doing in banking session, the law of insurance, where we will be doing a question on yes, the insured party. So contract of indemnity is a contract by which one party promises to save the other from losses caused to him by the contract of the promiser. Yes, essentials of indemnity. Number one, promise to compensate for the loss. Promise to compensate for the loss. So P for promise. Please write down there. The Life Insurance Corporation of India is promising to compensate the loss. P for promise. L for loss. L for loss. There is an anticipated loss. S for saving. S for saving. Save the other party. L for losses. Covers only the actual loss. Loss to promisee. Object or consideration must be lawful. Indemnity may be express or implied. It must fulfill the requirements of a valid contract. It must fulfill the requirements of a valid contract. So students, you all understood, when we enter into a contract with the insurance companies, we sign a contract, and if anything goes wrong and that insurance company doesn't pay you the insurable interest, then you take that other party to the court. You take the party to the court. I had an extremely a very, very nice case which I had to fight in the Mumbai High Court. There was this daughter-in-law. Daughter-in-law, her husband had taken a LIC policy. He died in an accident. He died unfortunately in an accident. And over there, the life insurance company, which had assured her a promise, an anticipated loss, had promised to save the other party, had actually covered. She was paying the premium. Her husband was paying the premium every month from his salary. He used to get a salary of around 25,000 or monthly. And from that, he used to pay around 5,000 to 6,000 every month as a premium. But unfortunately, at the young age of 32, he died in a bike accident. He died in a bike accident, and the insurance company, without knowing that he's got a widow, transferred all the insurance amount to the mother-in-law and the father-in-law, to the in-laws. Now, this daughter-in-law was very feeling bad. Why has the insurance company not reported to me that the payment is being, given to her husband's parents? So ultimately, this took 7 to 8 years for us to fight it in the court. and that young widow got a justice after 8 years, and the insurance company explained that to the High Court that it was a real loss. We are very sorry. We were not aware of the claimants. So these are the cases that come to a lawyer when there is a contract of indemnity. Number one, that is P, to promise to compensate. Number two, loss. In my case, it was the loss of life of that young man whose wife and child was suffering. They didn't have any means of income. She had to do some, beautician. She had to go to 10 to 15 houses and do some beauty, therapy to the clients that she get the fees for her son. The in-laws were not bothered. They were not ready to transfer any amount to her. They were not ready to take care of the child. So these are the things when insurance companies, when they are diverting the money to the claimants, they have to see to it that whether there is any nominee. I'll tell you certain interesting cases which come down to us where it takes years in the court. It takes years in the court to get justice. Though there are laws, we say we go to the court for claiming damages, for claiming compensation, but it is always delayed. So justice delayed is justice denied. And therefore, we always train the insurance companies, rather than somebody going to the court and you all wasting money on lawyers, when you're doing your contractual obligation, please do it properly. So I think you all understood the contract of indemnity. Number one, promise to compensate for loss. Number two, losses, that is anticipated loss. Number three, saving the other party. Number four, cover the actual losses. Number five, loss to promisee. Yes, there was a loss to the promisee. Object or consideration must be lawful. In my second session, I had explained to you capacity to contract and consideration. I had told that consideration should not be prejudicial and affecting public interest. That is, consideration should not be PAPI, PAPI, that is prejudicial and affecting public interest. So that is the sixth point over here. Please do not forget to mention all the 8 points, because almost all of us take insurance. Almost all of us take insurance. This happens in our day-to-day business activity. Simple, even if you're a housewife, maybe you're a professional, maybe this office I have insured. So it is like, number one, promise to compensate. Number two, anticipated loss. Number three, save the other party. Number four, covers the actual loss. Number five, loss to the promisee. Number six, consideration should not be PAPI, prejudicial and affecting public interest. Indemnity may be expressed or implied. It must fulfill the requirements of a valid contract. It must fulfill the requirements of a valid contract. Again, in my second lecture, I'd explain to you what is a valid contract. Valid contract is a contract which is enforceable in the court of law. It should not be void. It should not be a minus contract. It should not be a contract with an unsound mind. It should not be a declared an insolvent contract. It should not be restraint of trade. It should not be restraint of legal proceedings. So all fulfillment of requirements of a valid contract. The promisor is offering something. The promisee is accepting something. And yes, there should be a mutual consent to it. People are sending me messages. I don't know why they're deleting. Yes. Kindly don't send me WhatsApp messages if you all are leaving. We have already entered your names in my register. All those who are having Viva have been entered in my register. So let us break over here. Let us break over here and meet after the break, 15 minutes. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Alina? Yeah, tell me what happened. But what time it is? Okay, but now since I've given, it's actually 3:15 ka break, na? Now the class is already left, no, otherwise I would have continued. The problem is I cannot hear you all. Yeah, but I'm showing the slides, they can understand, no? Okay, I'll take it once again. It's the contract of indemnity. The thing is, I cannot listen to them. Something else, some problem is there. I'll ask Sakshi. What happened? I don't know. The connection no, is getting maybe that internet issue, right? So when there is a message, your internet connection is unstable. So they did not understand bailment. Yeah, that I have done actually. So that's what I took Jasma's, that quasi contract. Okay, I will take it again. So let us meet at 3:30 again. Yeah. Breach of contract here. Yeah. 1 second. I'll just see where it is so that I'll keep it ready. Now you can see my screen now. You can see my screen. Who is there now instead of you to help me out? That's why I don't make Jatin. What time his Viva is? Huh? So just Jatin to call me out. Just ask Jatin to call me. Yeah. Sakshi, I don't know why I can't hear the class, Ray. असं कधीच नाही झालेलं हो. Yeah. Okay, because then I gave 10 minutes early the break. Okay. Manje, I will go off from the okay. Yeah.